everybody, welcome back. This is Patty Hall with Get Balanced 2020, and we're on series 2. Actually, this is part 2 of a series. But there's actually 2-part series for 2 parts, but it's on basically soulmates and how we are in our singleness and how we can find our soulmate and what a soulmate is. Is there really such thing as a soulmate? And if you haven't been ever on Get Balanced 2020, I thank you for showing up. Really quickly, what Get Balanced 2020 is all about is basically teaching people how to put mind, body, and spirit together. And what I mean by that is our mind is our thought processing. Our spirit is actually where everything gets its roots from. It's from our heart. It's from what we believe in, what we've been taught and trained. But most of all, the spirit comes from a place that we cannot even explain, whether you believe in God or creator, the universe, whatever. That's where spirit comes from, and that's where we make our decisions from. We actually our spirit speaks to our soul, which is basically our head and everything. And that's where we get our spirit, where we get our decisions from, where we make our choices from and things like that. And that's all based on from the roots. And you can watch that, Getting Back to the Roots, on my 4-part series on my YouTube channel. But today, what we're talking about is actually soulmates, or is it a mate for your soul, or is it a soul tie, those kind of things. How to have a soulmate, or if you already have one, that kind of thing. So if you need to look at some of the videos before, would like to, please do so. You can go to my YouTube channel, and if you're on YouTube right now, please like, share, and subscribe. If you go on my Facebook, please like and share, because you can also get inspiration and motivation, everything like that on my Facebook as well. But today we're going to finish up with part 2. So if you didn't get to see part 1, I'll recap real quick because I don't want to go into that. You can watch that video. But just for those that are showing up that you have watched 1 and you're just sort of like, what was that about? Let me go ahead and recap for you, all right? So let's get started. So on the first series, what we talked about was singleness. If you're single, it's okay. If you don't want a relationship, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with being single. And we talked about that and how singleness works and how it's best for people that sometimes aren't meant on this earth to be in a relationship. Their focus, it's where you're focused. And when we are single, we can focus on ourselves, our spirit, what we believe in, what we need for our lives, and things like that. We talked about that. We talked about the difference between when we guard our heart, because that's the number one thing anything on this earth wants, or anything in the unseen wants. They want your heart, because that's where the soul is. That's where your spirit is. And if they can take that away, they know that they can be destructive. It can be harmful and devastating. Whereas if it's a good thing, then we want to make sure that our heart is protected so we can have all the positives and benefits of our life the way that we were intended to have. Okay, so when we talked about that, we talked about either putting a wall up or actually keeping a gate. So if you put a wall up, it doesn't allow you to let anything or anybody in. Wrong way of doing something. You have to know yourself, your self-awareness, and leave a gate there and allow certain people, certain things in, and shut that when you don't want them into your space, your heart, your chakras, and all that kind of stuff. We talked about now when it comes to spirit, how a soulmate is presented to you. Not you go find it and manipulate how other people to get into your life. It's a coincidence, or I don't even believe in coincidences. It's a divine intervention that 2 people meet. It's not like, oh, I'm going to go, I like that guy, I'm going to see him. He works 8 to 5, I'll be there 9 o'clock. You'll figure things out to actually draw that person in. Soulmates, soul ties are a divine intervention that actually happens through the universe, whatever you believe in, energies and things like that. It's not one you seek out. And it will happen. You just have to let that timing come into place. It is all about timing. And that's what we talked about there too. We talked about what is the spirit, because it all starts from the spirit. And so what is a spirit? We talked that a spirit is about your mind, emotions, your will, your imagination, your affection. All that is what the spirit contains. And those things we talked about in that also. We also talked about what a soulmate is and what it isn't. So a soulmate isn't just somebody to keep company with and hang with and do whatever with. A a soulmate comes into your life, or a mate for your soul, whichever way you want to put it, comes into your life for a need and a purpose, for, if you want to call it an assignment or your purpose in life or your soul driven life, whatever you want to call it, but they come into us for our own needs. And our needs are basically what our weakness is, they're our strength. So if we want honesty in our life, we look for somebody with good integrity, high integrity, those kind of things. We want sort of the yin and yang balance. And that's what a soulmate does. It's not just somebody hang with, keep company. Oh, they complete me. They make me feel good. That's not what it's about whatsoever. Okay. So that's what we talked about. The other thing we started to end with was to walk in your truth. Because once you have self-awareness of yourself, you're able to go ahead and find out really what you need, what your intent is, what is your future intent, what is your current intent. So maybe you want somebody to hang with, and that's currently only what you want. That intent needs to go to the person that maybe want to be seeking you. So you need to be clear with that. Walking in the truth, not playing a game. This is not chess. This is, well, you could call it chess, I suppose, but in all reality, it is not. This is something where if you want to gain, to get to your soulmate or your mate for your soul quickly, then you need to follow what you need for yourself, stand by it, focus in on it, and go with it, and allow it to present, that person to present when that timing is perfect. We talked about timing, how timing is really important. We talked about that in the past. We talked about how one person might be here, one person might be here, and even though you guys are soulmates, we have to work, or whatever the divine is doing, to be able to gradually come and get us prepared or unprepared, whatever we've gone through, and then we meet. So that's what we talked about. Be yourself. If you have to walk on eggshells, if you have to sit there and tippy toe around somebody, you are in the wrong relationship. That is not love. That is not a soulmate. That is not what your spirit has intended for you to do, because it's always constructive and a blessing, and a lifting up of somebody is where it has to be. If they're not, they're pushing you down. In abuse cases, they're pushing you down. It's a control. It's a manipulation. It's like, I want you to be the way that I want you to be, and this is the way it is. That is not a soulmate. We ended in that, right? So, and if you need more of that, then please go back and watch video 1, because those are some of the key elements that come up to this point where we're talking to right now. And that's where we're going to start at, is we started to talk about broken relationships versus broken people. And we ended it with that there is no such thing as a broken relationship. It's a broken person. So, well, I'm getting a divorce, we just, don't get along anymore. That's the issue with that person, that they haven't taken the time to sit there and figure out themselves, what is it in this relationship that I am not contributing, or I am contributing too much to make it the situation that it is. It is work, people. It is work. When you are in the wrong relationship, it is a lot of work. A lot more work than if you were waiting and being patient and allow that soulmate to be presented, so that you can actually just meld together the way that the universe or God or Allah or whoever you believe in is meant to be. Because that's what it is. It's a unity. It's a complete unity. I'm weak here, you're strong here. I'm strong here, you're weak here. It's a unity. And that's why they call marriage, because you've got a unity, a oneness. And that's what soul ties, as told soulmates be. Soul ties. Let me explain really quick, because if you missed the video before, soul ties, if you hook up with somebody, especially women, if you hook up with somebody, for a one night stand or whatever it is. You're actually coming together, two bodies as one. And as females, we're very, very emotional beings. Guys are not as much. I'm not saying that there's some that aren't, but it's a sexual need for most men. But for women, it's an emotional need. But when you come together as one, that is a soul tie. Whether you like it or not, you have just tied those two souls together. Because if you go back to any faith, what happens when you get married? You consummate the marriage. That becomes one. If you talk about a three-stranded cord, we talk about me, you, and God in the center, and that is a unity. So when you soul tie and hook up with this person, that person, whatever person, 10 persons, 5 persons, million persons, you've done those soul ties, and it actually takes a little piece of you away. Rather than saving that all for your actual soulmate and basically allowing that to completely flourish. But that's all I'm going to say about that, because that's a whole other topic that we're not really talking about right now today. So basically, the brokenness that you're coming into this relationship with is about you. So if you're arguing and fighting, each person in that relationship needs to step back, whether it's a love relationship, family relationship, work relationship. You're fighting with somebody at work, you don't like somebody at work, you need to step back. But if both of the people aren't doing it, you're going to get one that's doing all the work and the other one doesn't give it, and so you're not going to be able to come to the middle of something if you're both not realizing it and working on it. And that takes communication. So that does take communication. So when we're looking at ourselves in brokenness, we have to go back to the spirit. What is broken in me that I need to go ahead, and maybe this is my weakness and I didn't realize it, but that other person sees it. Sometimes we don't see what we're doing in a relationship or anything. And sometimes we need to step back and sort of humble ourselves and say, really, I did this to my daughter last night. I said, what is the weakness in me that you see? Now, and I asked to be completely 100% honest, whether I like the answer or not. She knows that she will give me the honest answer. So she gave me my weakness and my strength. And I'm like, I don't see myself that way, but I have heard that many times. So why wouldn't I pay attention to that and maybe analyze that in with myself and maybe work on that? So I will do that. I am a stubborn person, and that stubbornness comes from earth, ego, and that is a dark thing. We need to let it go. Let it go. So maybe that's something I need to find somebody that is understanding and not stubborn, the opposite. We want to find somebody who's the opposite. So your brokenness is in yourself. It is not in the relationship. So if you can understand that, that is really, really important, because when you start working on yourself, you'll be able to see where your weaknesses are, and that actually will help you grow and become more strong in that. And not only that, you'll probably help the other person without even knowing it, or they're going to see you in a different light, like, wow, they're really working on themselves. And so when we come to that, that's what that is about. But when we also look at that, we also have to, when we're thinking about a soulmate or moving into a relationship with anybody, what is the intent of that relationship that we're moving into? So you've met your soulmate, or you've met somebody that you think is your soulmate. Okay, what is that intent? You will be able, I'm going to give you here some criterias, 5 criterias of what soulmates are really about and what you would look for in a soulmate. But the thing is, when you sit there and you begin to butt heads, even from the get-go, you have to realize that it's probably not a soulmate. And what you want to do is what you really, really, really do not want to is think, okay, well, they're not quite my soulmate, but they make a good life mate. Or, we're talking about life mates, classmates, workmates, all that kind of mates. You don't want to settle. Oh, I'll never find anybody. They're really nice. They treat me well. It's not really what I'm looking for, but, maybe they'd make a good life mate. So what you're thinking which we talked about earlier. Expectations, this is in a different video. Expectations plus reality equals frustration. It also equals unhappiness. It equals all the blah, 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 negative stuff. Because here's the thing, even if I think that person's a soulmate, maybe that person doesn't. But maybe we both think we're soulmates, but the intent is different. I want marriage. I don't want marriage. So you got some things that you have to work out. But the other thing is, if you're soulmates, your intents are probably the same. You're probably very, very much on the same page, and you probably are, your thinking patterns, your values, your morals, and all that kind of stuff are probably pretty much melded together, because that's what you might hear people that are in the they talk about the universe. They'll talk about twin flame. Okay, twin flame means you're a female, you're a male, and you, whatever you do, this person does. It's almost like what do you call that? Oh, help me out there. A copy of yourself, but only in a different sex. And so that's what a twin flame is. So, and they say everybody has a twin flame out there. So when we say everybody has a soulmate, I say there's always a mate for your soul. And so those are the things that you should be able to just easily meld together. It's like you've met, but you've known each other all your life. And it's like, where have you been? Kind of thing. All right. So that's what that is. So what we want to make sure is that the person that, when you sit there and think of a mate for your soul or your soulmate, what we want to actually think about is that this person is safe for my soul. Take a second and take that in. That person is safe for my soul. So what that means is that I can be myself. I can walk in truth. I can, not saying do anything bad or destructive. I'll get some beautiful birds outside my window. Sorry. It's just that you are safe. You feel comfortable, safe at home. You've known each other. You know that person has your back, is going to support and stand up for you, and you're going to stand up and support for them. And anybody that comes between you, it's basically, you are one. So basically, that is what you mean by safe for my soul. And that's what basically a soulmate will bring. And also, when you're a soulmate, you actually bring into it that the relationship, and if you believe in the higher powers, the relationship is blessed. It is given everything positive that it can. Things will begin to unfold, harvest. It will blossom. All the light lifting elements, also in love and joy and all that kind of stuff. Now, if it's not a soulmate, and you go and you manipulate it and try to find it, and it's going to work, and yeah, he loves me, I love him, that kind of thing. Love is actually a choice, but the thing is that you're struggling, you're fighting, and it's really not supposed to be there. It's not supposed to happen. So you will have more work, and maybe it will work out, but it won't be as joyous and happy as what was supposed to be presented to you as a soulmate. So I'm not saying that if you went and you found it, just like, because some other countries, other cultures, like when I lived in Japan, they would do arranged marriages. Now, you know what? Whether those were soulmates that came together through the help of divine interaction, that kind of thing, we'll never know until we die and move on and see actually how it really works. But the thing is that when these two people come together, as I was going to lead into next, is love is a choice. In certain cultures, they have no choice. This is who they get with, but they can also make it a choice to love that person or not love that person. So I didn't understand this concept until I was 41, 42. I'm like, no, love is love, love, like hippie love, peace, love, joy, all that kind of stuff. But in all reality, when this person said, no, I will choose to love somebody if I choose to, and I will say no when I don't want to love that person. And I'm like, well, that's pretty cold. But if you sit there and think about it, and people do not understand the different levels of love, and I'm getting off track a little bit, but just for a second, and there's a reason for this, is that there's different levels of love. And if a soulmate is the most ultimate divine interaction, the highest love that you can ever find, love doesn't even have to be a choice. It's just there. But when we have been wronged, when we have been broken, when we have allowed people to damage or break us in certain areas, and I look at us, when I say broken, I think of a beautiful vase that has cracks all through it, but you can keep it together. But it actually is all cracked and broken. I have one. I'll bring one for an example next time. I wish they would have remembered this earlier. But the thing is, love is a choice. I can choose to love my brother and sister or hate them. So just like hate's a choice, we can do that. Now, if you look into somebody and you're looking at physical attributes rather than the heart, because that's where we should be looking. Yes, we are a physical being. Yes, we are. We do want something to please our eye. We do want that. And that's just part of being a human being. But the thing is, what we really need to do is say, okay, she's beautiful, he's beautiful, whatever. But step back and say, okay, I like what I'm looking at, but now let me just go deeper and look at the heart of that person, because we want to stop at some point looking at the beauty and really get to the heart. The quicker that you do that, you'll understand if this person is your soulmate or not, because you're going to look at the heart of the person, and that person should be somewhat mirroring to what you might be thinking as well. So make sure that you're looking at the heart. Again, open that gate a little bit. Don't open it all the way, but just make sure that you open it up to now allow to see if that person is really your soulmate or not. And I go into a different video that I talk about finding out if it's your soulmate. It's not that hard, because like the criteria I'm going to give you here, it's not that hard, because the thing is with these elements, but then too, you sit there, and when I go out, or if I'm even considering dating somebody, they've got 3 interviews with me basically. So by that third either conversation or meeting or date, then I will go there and say, is this really the person that I want to expend my time, energy, love, and I sit back and I'm like, did God send this to me? Because this is sort of interesting how this happened. I don't believe in coincidences at all. I believe that there is a purpose and a reason for anything and everyone that comes into our lives. So those are questions I ask myself. I'm not talking about that person. I'm saying, okay, for me, is this God divine? Is this sent to me? Or did I go and follow that person and look, oh, yeah, hey, do you know him? Oh, yeah, is he married? Oh, I don't do that. I used to, because I didn't understand that I was pulling in people that should not have been in my life in the first place. Make sense? I hope so. Anyway, so so what we want to do to understand, we're going to go to the criterias next. So get your paper and pencil. There's always a paper and pencil in my videos. So you want to make sure, because I couldn't even remember to write or remember all these. So, and I want to get them in a right order. So the criteria of a soulmate is what we just talked about. It's a revelation. It's number 1 is a revelation. It's presented to you. It's not manipulated. I don't pick them. The universe picks them for me, because there is a purpose for everybody here on this earth. We have sort of an assignment to do, whatever that is. And that's when I say assignment, it's our calling, whatever our calling is to do. Mine is a calling to teach, inspire, nurture, grow. Part of me, that's woman, but I love teaching, and that's part of my calling. I have a few callings, but this is one of my big callings. So we want to do that. This number 2 is that our values align with our needs. So do their values align with our needs? So if I'm going to be, for example, a teacher, does that person support the elements and the things that I do and what I'm trying to present? It's sort of that, again, it's almost the hand in the glove, does it fit kind of thing. And it's not about so much yeah, because what happens is if their values don't meet my needs, then we're going to end up with maybe some troubles. It would be like, I like riding horses, they're animals. Maybe he likes motorcycles and they like motorcycles. Well, I'm not really a motorcycle person. They're okay, they're nice, but if I cannot support them in their hobby, their work, or whatever that is, and they can't support me in mine, or don't even see an element of it, then we're going to head into trouble. So it doesn't mean you have to have common interests. It just means that, again, we go to the weakness and the strength. Is their strength going to match my weakness, and vice versa? Okay, so that's number two. And I go back to the honesty and integrity kind of thing. If I'm honest, I'm looking for integrity, that kind of thing. So, and number three, they compliment you and they don't complete you. So think, they're not better than you. They're your equal, but no matter what you do, they compliment you in what you do. Everybody needs affirmations at some point. Everybody needs to be lifted up. They're going to compliment you in the things that you do. They're not just going to say, oh yeah, nice video. Great. Oh yeah. They might say, hey, that was a really good video. Then maybe they're going to give you some feedback. Maybe you could, wear your hair a little different, or maybe dress up, or whatever. And it might make me feel like, okay, that is a weakness because I really don't pay attention to that. So maybe they will help and compliment you in certain ways. It's not a bad thing. It's something that you have to allow yourself to be complimented. Sometimes we don't allow people to compliment us. We'll just say, and my mother taught me this many, many years ago. Thank you, Mom. I used to be very overweight. And so my mom, somebody would compliment me on my clothes, or maybe I lost a little weight, and I'm like, I would say, oh, thank you, but this old thing, or I'd always add something into it. And rather than just saying thank you and accepting of somebody else's compliment, even though I can't see it, somebody else obviously did, or maybe they're lying, but I don't know that. But the thing is that they're complimenting me, and I need to learn to accept that. So we need to learn to accept that from, that's another brokenness, but we need to learn to accept that. So allow them to compliment you. And the other thing too is our spirit and our faith beliefs. This is probably going to be really touchy for some people, but number 4, whatever you believe in, then they push you more towards that. As long as it's constructive, it's of the light, it is of God or creator, whatever it is. Say for example, or they push you toward to be the best person that you're going to be. Because the problem is we get two different mind thoughts of different. I don't want to go into religions. I don't want to do that, but I'm trying hard not to create an example. But if you go into, we'll use it. You have a Muslim person, a Christian person. It doesn't mean that they can't get together, but their faith and their beliefs, not only that, but their moral values, their integrity and things are very different. So if you're going to get into one of those relationships, he's Muslim, she's Christian, vice versa, doesn't matter. And I want that person to come to my God, and this wants me to come to, mine. It's not going to work. It is just not going to work. And it doesn't mean it has to be faith-based is what I'm trying to get to. You're trying to get that person to go to whatever they believe in. So if this person is Muslim and this person's Christian and this person says, you know what, you need to be strong, you need to grow in your faith, you need to grow to your God, you need to do this, and this person needs to say, well, you need to go to your Muslim faith and you need to be strong in that and you need to grow in that because that's what you were meant to be or do or whatever. So then that becomes what a soulmate is. But if you say, I'm Muslim, you need to be Muslim. I'm Christian, you need to be Christian. You need to come my way. It's never going to work because you don't have the same values, same integrity, same morals. Now, you can take it away from religion or whatever. I don't like the word religion. For me, it's a relationship with your creator, what or whoever that is. Whatever my creator is, that's personal to me. Whatever yours is, that's personal to you. But that is my point. If you have a certain belief and the other person is trying to isolate you from that or grow you away from it, that is not your soulmate. That's what I'm talking about in number 4. It is somebody that is going to allow you to draw closer to that which is most important to you. Now, you could say, well, I'm atheist. I don't believe in that. Okay, so you find somebody that actually will allow you. Maybe I'm an entrepreneur and I want to own my own business. You're like a hard blue collar worker. You work your butt off. You're making the money. And entrepreneurship, I will tell you from experience, is very unstable. You have to be on your toes all the time because if the market drops or your drops or you drop, then you are the sole provider of that and you could lose everything. Been there, done that. Anyway, so you've got somebody who's an entrepreneur, somebody who doesn't believe in it. They need stability. They need to be in a position where they have to have their home. They have to have their job. They have to have this. They have to have that. Where an entrepreneur is very flexible and can fly and go anywhere almost as far as, being unstable sometimes. Now, if this person who needs stability doesn't allow this entrepreneur to be flexible, to be the person that they need to be, it's not going to work. If this entrepreneur does not let that person be stable, let them do what they need to do and what makes them happy and joyful, it's not going to work. But if this person says, baby, I love you, you go, you do what you need to do to grow your business. You need to, whatever you need me to do to help you to get there, let me know. That will work. If this person says, you know what, I know stability is really important to you. I know you need to do this for you. This is what you feel makes you comfortable, happy, safe, and sound. I support you in what you do and allow you to do what you need to do. That's soulmates. That is coming together. That's number 4. Is that 4 or 5? 4. Yeah, 4. Sorry, I'm losing track. I'm getting all excited. So that's what that is. So you look for that where you're going to complement each other, help each other, and grow towards the purpose. Because even as a soulmate, we're still individual people. We still have our own callings. It's just that God or the Creator melded us together because we can complement each other, not complete each other, because we are separate individuals. All right. So number 5, it sort of goes with number 4. It's that soulmate is allowing you to complete your mission, your assignment, your calling. If they don't allow you, if they get in the way, like, well, we were supposed to go to the movies and all of a sudden, you had a client call and blah, 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 blah. Well, they may start interfering with what your calling is. And if they're allowing you, entrepreneurs are really, really, I respect every entrepreneur because it takes a lot away from your family and your time, but there has to be balance. And that's why there's things like this. So but you have to not interfere with that person's calling. You have to allow them. Well, I keep saying you have to, but a soulmate would allow them. who you're supposed to be with. And that's where true love really comes in. True love is something that is a melding, a soulmate, a mate for the soul, and that's where it comes in. And that's what makes it much more easier. And when you look at elders that have been together 30, 40, 50 years, and everybody's like, how do you do it? In actuality, when they turn around and say, I don't know, it's because they allowed the divine to bring them together. They didn't go seeking. Love brought them together in the very, very first beginning. It's like these ones that are high school, live on from high school up to their elders. Those were actually intertwined at a certain time and place to be able to meet for that and for that purpose. And they've allowed each other to grow and have their purpose in life. And so, yes, there's hard times, there's work, there's everything through any type of relationship, but why not make it easier on yourself and allow the divine to present somebody for you, bring them into your life, and allow that melding to be so much more joyful and such a blessing than to, oh, try to look fine, look fine, look fine. And then you end up with, oh, well, he'll do, she'll do. That's not the way it's supposed to be. So we'll go through those real quick so you can write those down real good. Okay, so number 1, revelation, or let the divine present it, not manipulate. Number 2, their values meet your needs and are aligned with your needs, and yours, theirs, same thing. And that means like, honesty versus integrity, that kind of thing. Number 3, they complement you and they don't think they're completing you. So they compliment you with who you are. And I don't mean verbal compliments. They're, you look good next to me. I look good next to you. We're happy next to each other kind of thing. That kind of a compliment. Number 4, they push you closer to your spirit of your divine, of what it is that your belief core system is. They push you towards that because that betters you as a human being. It betters you to the purpose that you're given in your life and what your calling is supposed to be. That's number 4. And number 5 is they don't interfere in that. They don't interfere. They push you towards it. They step back. Hey, baby, I'm here if you need me. What do you need me to do? Okay, I'm here. And you let them do it. And you should be letting them do it. If you're pushing, controlling, manipulating, that's not a soulmate. So anyway, the last thing that I'm going to come to is that through this process, and I'm going to do a video on doubt, but through this process, you're going to feel uncertain. You're going to have doubts. And the reason why is because when you meet somebody, don't be hungry. Don't be desperate. Just live life. As I said in the last video, when you least expect it, expect it. Because here's the thing, that's how the divine works. Comes out of the blue. Where'd that come from? Where'd she come from? Why didn't I notice? And sometimes it's right in front of you and you don't even see it. But all of a sudden the divine just takes those shades off, turns that light bulb on, and it's like, wow, you've been there all the time and I didn't even look at you that way. Because you weren't ready. They weren't ready. Whatever it is, nothing was ready. Now it is ready. So then it's presented to you. So those kind of things. So don't be hungry. Go back to the video 1 and be in singleness and find your awareness in you, what you want. I just did this morning and I said, well, what is, speaking to somebody for life coaching. I said, what is it that she wants? What's her intent? What is she, because he was hurt. So what's her intent? What's your intent? What does she want? And, they said, well, she said she doesn't know what she wants. At the age that you're at, you should know, especially this age, you should really know what you want, what your intent is. And don't be afraid to walk in the truth and say it. Don't be hungry and, well, I wonder if he likes me. I wonder if, is he thinking that? Or is he? Ask him. Hey, what do you think? What's your intent? I do it all the time. And sometimes I have to interrupt. sometimes and just get my words in so that I can understand where this is going. Remember, I give 3 interviews. That's pretty much it. Otherwise, we're great friends. But if I'm looking for, and I'm trying to see, is this God intervened? Is this me manipulating? Or is this person sent to me for help? Is this person? So those are the things that I ask myself. And if it's God intervened, by that third one, I already know. So those are the things. That's just me. That's how I do things. But and I didn't before. I used to let everybody in. You know that gate I'm talking about? That was all wide open. Oh yeah, until I got hurt so much and I didn't trust so much that then I grew a wall. Then I had to figure out how to break down that brick wall, reopen the gates and allow them now to open and close. Put some, WD-40 on those hinges and make sure that they close, because you definitely don't want people in that are not going to be like your soulmate, uplifting, push you towards your goals, be loving and kind in that way. But doubt and uncertainty during this process, especially if you've been single for a long time and you're staying single, there is a reason for that. You're not ready. Listen to everything that you're doing in your mind and working on yourself, and find your brokenness and actually help fix that brokenness, restore yourself, rebuild. And by that time, you just might be surprised that somebody either has been there or somebody's coming in, and you've been doing all this work, you're ready. The problem is we bring so much brokenness. We haven't done our own homework. They haven't done their own homework. We bring in 2 broken people and then they say, well, that relationship didn't work. No, you didn't do your homework. So when that soulmate does come in, or that mate for your soul comes in, you've done your homework. They've done their homework, and you are actually melded together because you're on the same page, same beliefs. Well, you might not have the same 100% beliefs, but you will have the roots to the foundation of your spirit, your soul, and your mind. That all works together. And then we talk about your body and nutrition and stuff like that too. So doubt and uncertainty is going to come in. Well, I waited 20 years. I still haven't found anybody. Or man, that divorce has been over for 6 years. I still haven't found anybody. You're not supposed to. You're not supposed to be finding them again, right? So you're going to wow, this, I'm never going to find anybody. Or, does God have anybody for me? Or they do. You just got to be patient and wait, because if the time is passing and you're not doing something to work on yourself, you're going to be waiting a lot longer. So start working on yourself. So that's for another date and another time. And you go back to my videos called Getting Back to the Roots, and that's where you can start on working on yourself. I'm not going to leave you hanging there, because it's not about finding a soulmate. It's about allowing that soulmate to be presented to you. All right. Hopefully these 2 videos have been helpful. I do know that there's somebody out there for everybody. And, okay. So one last thing. There is a soulmate for everybody, but we all have soul ties. We also have many soul mates, but the one that you're meant to be with will come. Now, whether you have that opportunity and you take it or you let it go, just know that it will be presented to you. So be mindful, awareness on your intent, what you want to move forward. Thank you for that. The divine said, don't forget this. And I'm like, okay, I'm sorry, I forgot about it. Because it is important that God will present you with opportunities. And if you pass them up, somebody else might get your blessing. You don't want that. So you want to know about your intent and your personality and everything that you need inside. So I bless you. I hope you are all doing good this weekend. It is Saturday here. Rainy back in Oregon again, just for a couple of days. But I hope that all is well. Please like, share, and subscribe. Subscribe. If you're watching on Facebook, please like and share. Share this with people. I'm noticing that there is an uptake with on my analytics and stuff like that people are watching. And I just want to reach out to all of those, and maybe just one little thing resonates in the videos, and that's all that's meant to do, is to resonate whatever it is with you, because at the end of the day, it's nothing about here on earth. It's all about what our divine and our spirit is telling us. The only thing that you can do here is make memories. You'll hear me say that all the time. Make memories with your family and your loved ones. I love you guys. Take care. Spread the word. All right. Bye-bye.